Oh boy, road trip! Southwest Arizona to Spokane, Washington with great stops en route. Before each trip, I get a massage and have my nails done. Then I'm ready for our adventure. First stop is to Jerome, Arizona. We paused for a picnic lunch, randomly finding this heritage park north of Phoenix. It fascinated me that saguaro and pines were in the same vicinity. And on to Jerome, an old mining town, famous for its ghosts. We stayed at the Ghost City Inn, originally the Garcia House, built in 1885. Note our ghostly welcome. We sure enjoyed our balcony and gorgeous view. Main Street delighted us with curious sights. The meal at Clink Scale was fabulous and worth the price. Then we enjoyed our comfortable bed and not so spooky night. Next morning, off to the Verde Canyon Railroad, known as Arizona's longest running nature show. We have boarded the Verde Canyon Railroad.
We're going to travel 39 miles round trip, but like I told some of you outside, the train does not go in a circle.
Our guide had lots of great info. I did not take notes, so these facts are from Wikipedia. The vintage diesel locomotives are 2 of only 10 remaining in operation in North America. They were originally built for the Alaskan Railroad in 1953. The tracks on which the Verde Canyon Railroad runs were opened in 1912. Linking a copper smelter at Clarkdale and the copper mines at Jerome. Excursions involve a 4-hour round trip from Clarkdale to Perkinsville and back. Fun fact, scenes from How the West Was Won were filmed at Perkinsville in the 1960s. This stay concludes with a lovely meal visiting family. Saying goodbye to Jerome, we make our way through Sedona and Flagstaff.
Clocks, they don't stop spinning. Take time, live life and say bye. Awake, engaged and grinning. Take a trip to be a wayfarer. We can cruise down the highway or zoom up the freeway. Explore the highway.
Then into the Navajo Nation, taking us all the way to Chinle, Arizona for our sunset tour of the Canyon de Chelly. Canyon de Chelly has sustained families for more than 4,000 years, including the ancient Puebloans, the Hopi, and eventually the Navajo. They call it meaning inside the rock. In 1931, President Hoover authorized it as a national monument to preserve the important archaeological resources. The monument encompasses approximately 84,000 acres of lands located entirely on the Navajo Nation, with roughly 40 families residing within the park boundaries. Then on to Moab, Utah for another sunset tour of the Arches National Park.
Okay, now this little trailhead up here is called Park Avenue. It's a really nice little hiking trail in the park. So most of your bigger features like Delicate Arch and Balanced Rock, in fact, is a big giant Enstrata rock. 3,600 tons, they estimate the weight of that thing. And it forms these like hoodoo looking things, like they look like they have heads, because that cap rock is harder than what's under it. This is the Cove of Caves, they call it. You come around, it was actually a beach cove at one time, and now it's got all these like caves started in it. There aren't any arches in there. They look like they will be someday. Then you come around, you come to Cove Arch, and this is the official, this is the Cove of Caves, but it's actually, I can see it. Okay, that one is Turret Arch over there. There's a little hole in the side of it. And that's North Window Arch. This is the fiery furnace right in front of us. But there's some real depth to it here, and it gets extremely warm back in there, and also in the setting sun, when you're looking at it from a distance, they look red. It looks like the heat exchangers in a furnace. It's a labyrinth, like a three-dimensional maze in this, between these fins back in there, and it goes on and on and on and on. If you got lost back there in the heat of the day in the summer, it could easily become life-threatening. Trailhead up here heads back. There's about, there must be a cluster of 8 arches back in there. Those are the penguins up there. See them? They look like 3 penguins huddled together. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I just love showing it to people. I do. I never get tired of doing this.
continuing our road trip. The next 5 days were about family, friends, and reconnecting with my roots. Day 1 was a beautiful drive from Moab to Lehi, Utah, where we met up for a lovely time reconnecting with Kathy and her husband Pat. Kathy is a sister from my bonus family. Day 2, we drove to Ketchum, Idaho. My grandmother was part of Ketchum's history. My dad and uncle were raised there, and I lived there as a young child. Visits during my youth and a few summers. It was a surprisingly emotional time for me going through archives in the Ketchum Library and finding historical plaques around town with quotes from my grandma and relatives further back. We made a quick stop to Sun Valley so I could see the opera house where my mom worked when she was pregnant with my youngest sister. Day 3, on to Boise, and a delightful time reconnecting with the rest of my bonus family, stepmom Betty, brother Kevin, and sister Tammy. We determined it had been close to 30 years since being together. Day 4 was a leisurely and winding road through the mountains, lush fields, and along the river to a hidden gem of a town, Kamiai. The lodge we stayed at was such a treat, and the town wonderfully enjoyable. Day 5 continued our journey to the northernmost part of Idaho, where, through trial and error, we found our snowbird friends Bob and Bonnie and their charming cabin. I play tennis with them during the winter months in Green Valley. It was sure a treat to connect with them in their neck of the woods. Another hour and we reached our destination to spend time with Fred's daughter Thomasina, husband Joshua, Rambunctious Olive, I'm now her third favorite person, ultra sweet Ivy, and Fawn, one of the softest cats ever. They have one more sweet kitty that I neglected to get a picture of. The time spent with them was wonderful. After some good rest, delicious meals, and gratifying time together, we said our goodbyes and began our adventure home.
Clocks, they don't stop spinning. Take time, live life, and savor. Awake, engaged, and grinning. Take a trip to be a wayfarer. We can cruise down the highway or zoom up the freeway. Explore the blue highways to see a scene or two. The road takes us away from here. Sandstone bridges in the air. Mountain vistas everywhere. Ocean tides that soothe away our cares. We can cruise down the byway or zoom up the freeway. Explore the blue highways to see a scene or two.
Winnemucca was great. Next stop, Tonopah. A section of road was covered with locusts. We had to stop so I could take pictures.
Adventure pushed us out the door. Wild West was ours to roam. And now that we've reached the further shore, onward leads us back to home. We can cruise down the byway or zoom up the freeway, explore the blue highways to see a scene or two.
Turns out the Goldfield Inn is an Airbnb. We met the owner and she gave us a tour. Definitely a spot to return to. The Dinky Diner had the best biscuits and gravy Fred and I ever tasted. As we leave Goldfield, there was a sign that caught our attention, so off we go to check it out. Over 40 cars, trucks, vans, and buses have been buried nose down or stacked atop each other along a dirt road in the desert. Real artists at work with many great messages. Final stop? You guessed it,